Everyone, welcome to today's sermon reflection. We were in Luke chapter 22 this past week and getting through all of these texts that have this common theme running through them. That common theme is betrayal. It is Jesus who is with his disciples at this Last Supper, what we now call communion or Eucharist. And he talks about how they will dip their hands into the bread and the cup with him, and that one of them is going to be the betrayer. We know from other gospel texts that this plays in heavily into their conversations, and they're going, Is it I? Is it I? Will I be that one? And they're wondering. They're wondering because somewhere inside of each and every one of them is this ability to betray, this ability to turn against, this ability to go, you know what if I don't really believe this? Or what if my beliefs can be manipulated just so slightly that it brings me to a different destination? And this last part, is what I think really leads to most betrayals in life and the betrayals of our faith and of our God. We say that we follow Jesus, this King of Kings, this Lord of Lords, who's really a King of peace, of grace, of compassion, of mercy. But when it comes down to it, you and I tend to make these deals with ourselves, with the world, with others that allow us the room inside of our head and sort of in our souls to betray. To go, well, what if God wants to utilize power in order to accomplish this? And what I love about how the season of Lent ends and how it begins is that's all around this particular exploration. If you remember, going back to the first Sunday of Lent, we are in the wilderness. We are out in the desert. Jesus is out there 40 days and 40 nights fasting, famished, when the devil comes to tempt him. And all of the temptations are the exact same temptations that show up here at the end of the story for Judas, for Peter, for the disciples, for you and me. We are tempted to believe that our bread, that our daily meals come from someone somewhere else, that if that power or authority, those 30 pieces of silver that are given in exchange for something, then perhaps that's worth it. We go to the top of the temple and we consider, what does it mean? Does God really want to protect me? Let me test that theory. We go to the highest pinnacles and the highest mountains and we overlook the kingdoms of the world and we go, what if I could have all of this right now? What if power is the thing that I'm willing to exchange all of the kingdoms of the world for? And that's what's happening here with these disciples. You notice Jesus' words were about the first shall be last and the last shall be first. The greatest among you should be the least. The oldest is not who's in charge, but the youngest, reversing all these cultural stereotypes that were around in the first century among the Jewish people and really among most of the Middle Eastern folks at the time and really among a lot of us still today, right? Yeah, we have these beliefs that somehow these orders matter, these caste systems essentially are how we order our lives in the world. And if we could just get one up, oh my goodness. But Jesus instead stoops down on the ground and washes the disciples' feet. It is Jesus who demonstrates what it means to be a servant. And when this happens, those who believe ultimately in power, those who crave that power, ultimately will make the decision to betray Jesus, to betray their faith, to betray this thing that we call the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. We see it all around us today, all throughout our American society. Christian after Christian after Christian who would rather exchange something for their faith. And then they justify it in their belief system, just like these disciples did all the way back then. I want you to think about all the emotions that evokes for you and I, the emotions inside of ourselves. Do we really believe this emotion of surprise when we discover that we probably don't actually believe? This emotion of anger when we see others betray, thinking ourselves as these truly faithful followers. These emotions of sadness, watching an entire world exchange its soul for what they think are the kingdoms of the world. They make that deal with the devil. When instead God wants mercy, God wants compassion, God wants grace. God asks us to act with kindness and goodness. See, all the way even into the end of the story, we've got this idea that Jesus says to them, like, before I sent you out and you didn't need anything, but now you're going to need a sword. Why does he say that? Because he knows. He knows they're going to betray. He knows they're going to walk away. He knows they're going to choose their survival. When the soldiers from the temple come out and Judas leads them and kisses Jesus on the cheek, there's this moment where Peter goes, "This is my chance. This is our rallying cry. Let us draw our swords." And he cuts off a soldier's ear. And Jesus says, "It's enough. Put it away. This is not the kind of kingdom that I have come to bring." He has come to bring a kingdom of sacrifice, a kingdom of the cross, a kingdom of laying down your own life, a kingdom of giving away your own whole self. Those who lose their lives for my sake shall find it. Friends, my hope for you in the middle of this Holy Week is that you will discover that it's never been by power. It's never even really been by persuasion. It has always been through the promise of giving our lives away. The promise of saying, I would rather not fight. The promise of saying, here is my body, take it. It is done. And with those words, we hear these other words from Jesus. It is finished. In this Holy Week, friends, may you know that God always brings this work of sacrifice to its end. And what that will result in is resurrection. Thanks for joining me today.